and welcome back to Tote Weight Loss Crusade. That's what I've decided to name this. This is my vlog weight loss thing about what I've gone through so far in the last 7 months and 1 week of losing 140 plus pounds now. I made a video last week and it was pretty successful. It's sitting right now about 900 views, which is big for my channel. It's the most I've ever had on any one video. So I hope this kind of continues. But I also want to help other people and stuff like that. So put that video together, showing some stuff, and invited people to contact me if they wanted to talk about it, ask me questions, or, anything like that. If they're starting their diet or need help starting a diet, or some kind of whatever their weight loss journey thing is going to be. So people reached out. A lot of people watched. A lot of people told me great job, which I was thankful for. Friends and family, extended people, and wanted to thank everybody for commenting. And I had a lot of people ask some similar questions, so I decided I'd make this video about some of those questions. One of the first questions was, a lot of people know what keto is, but I think intermittent fasting is a term that not everybody knows, or IF. Sometimes I'll type it as just IF. And so some people were confused or didn't know what that was. Keto is the big diet that a lot of people are doing, so I think a lot of people know about it, and it's easy to research. Intermittent fasting is as well, but I think it's just slightly less known. So intermittent fasting, it's pretty simple. It's if you have a 24-hour day, you fast for 16 of those hours, and then you give yourself an 8-hour window, which 8 plus 16 is 24. So you get that 8-hour window in which you can eat. So that 16 hours, you include your sleeping time, then 8 hours of your day, and you eat. Now you can put that eating window anywhere in that 24-hour, but that's the only time you can eat. When you're not in that hour, you're drinking only water. You can have some salt and some of the minerals and things like that if you need to keep your electrolytes up. Again, you want to drink lots of water. And if you drink coffee or tea or things like that, you can have those, but they have to be unsweetened, no creams, no milks, nothing. I don't drink coffee or anything, so for me it's just straight water and maybe a little bit of salt when I feel like my electrolytes have gotten low. There's different things you can get for that as well. There's like salty salt or something like that, electrolyte pills and things like that if you're afraid your electrolytes are dipping. That's intermittent fasting. Now, some people do it for 5 days a week, and some people do it for 7 days a week, or some people do it for 3 days a week, different ranges in which they have days in which they intermittent fast. For me, I do it 7 days a week. Even on a cheat day, which I only do once a month, I'd still fast for the 16 and have that eating window. And I've gone to the point now where I'm usually doing about a 24 or 18-6. So I have a smaller window and a larger fast. Another way to think of intermittent fasting is you're skipping a meal. And you're not going to split it. You skip dinner or you skip breakfast. So that would be your intermittent fast. I've gotten down for myself, again, like I said, 20 and 4, something like that. So I'm basically having 1 meal a day and maybe a snack. And so the other thing I want to talk about is cheat days. I don't know if anyone actually asked me about this, but I see it come up constantly. People talk about cheating or when can I cheat or that kind of thing. Because a lot of people, when they do a diet, they just go straight through. They have a hard time and they break and they snap and they binge and then they kill the diet and it's gone. And a lot of people like to have a cheat day in there. And when I first started, I wanted to have no cheat days. Well, I wanted to go at least a month straight. I ended up going 2 months straight without taking a day off from the diet. And I decided when I did do it, I did all of September, all of October, and I took off Halloween. And I had that day, and I had some pizza, and I had a little bit of candy, and that was my day. And I had a soda. It wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but there was some satisfaction with it. I'm not going to lie. Some people say like, oh, it wasn't worth it. It was worth it to a degree. And funny enough, almost every time I've had a cheat day, those are sometimes my best weeks of weight loss the following. I don't know if it just resets my body or something, but I don't know why. It doesn't seem to hurt me that much. But again, I only do it once a month. At most, I've actually skipped a couple of months. Like I think I skipped January and I skipped March. It was just easier not to. I had no birthday party or there was a birthday party for some nieces and nephews, but I forgot about it. So there was nothing to plan around, so I just didn't do it. Well, that's how I feel about cheating. But anyways, that's intermittent fasting. And there was the cheat thing, which I wanted to talk about. And the last thing was, a lot of people were asking me, what's my typical meal look like? What do I usually eat in a day? So usually it's just some kind of meat. Pork chop, steak, chicken, beef, roast beef, something like that. I'm the kind of guy who eats like all the connective tissue and fatty stuff. I always have. I love that stuff. I like the weird parts, but I like dark meat over white meat. But yeah, so I'll eat that, and then a mix of greens, sometimes Brussels sprouts, sometimes cabbage, sometimes, a lot of times spinach, asparagus, green beans, and then occasionally throw in some mushrooms to get that vitamin B and stuff. Niacin, I think it is. And that's it. I season them well. Cook the greens and the mushrooms in grass-fed butter or coconut oil or a little bit of bacon grease. And I season that all, pink Himalayan salt, garlic, onion, and whatever seasonings I want to have. That way, that way I'm not using any kind of sauces or anything. That way I'm not getting any sugar from that. That's my jam. So yeah, I want to share a couple recipes with you guys right now. One of them I like to do is egg drop soup. The soup is something I would have before and after an extended fast. Another one is I'm going to show is a simple pork chop thing I like to do, which includes walking, and I'll explain that with some asparagus. And then the last one is a smoothie I do once in a while. I don't do this very often. It's kind of actually the higher in the carb count thing I do have. It's I wouldn't have this every day. It's probably let's see, 14, something like 14 carbs or something like that. But it would be the only thing I'd have that day, if not maybe the soup with it, because the soup is, again, super low carb. But yeah, so those are the things I would have, and so we'll get into that. So here we go. We'd look at my belly a little bit as we start this out. So I got here 2 sirloin pork chops. And for seasoning, I've got ground cumin, 1 teaspoon, half a teaspoon of ground coriander, with a tablespoon of smoked chipotle, garlic, 1 tablespoon, and a tablespoon of onion. Also, coarse ground pepper and pink Himalayan salt. So we'll mix the spices together and make ourselves a little rub. Don't forget your gloves, don't want any cross-contamination, as we are dealing with raw pork. So I'll season the pork chops with salt and pepper, both sides. And we'll take those spices and we'll pour it onto the meat and rub it in, flip it over and do the other side. And then I like to stack them on each other real fast just to kind of, press they rub into the meat. It's just something I do. I don't know if it makes a difference, but I do it. We'll add a little extra seasoning. All right, I've got me a cooking sheet with a rack, pre-lined with tin foil or aluminum foil, and then I'm going to put these pieces of pork on the rack, and we'll wrap that up in tin foil. Then I'm going to put them in a oven at 200 degrees for about 2 hours, and during that time I'm actually going to go for a walk. Good way to waste some time. All right, after a couple hours I'm going to come back from my walk, and we'll take this out of the oven. So then we turn the oven up to about 400 degrees, and I have a roast setting on mine. You could use your broiler or something like that, but we'll remove the tin foil from the pork chops, and then I actually like to take them off the rack for a second, and then I'm going to take the juices from the pork and pour it into a bowl, kind of a little pork au jus kind of thing going on there. Put the rack back on the cookie sheet and put the pork chops back on the rack. Now we're going to put them in the oven at 400 degrees for about 7 minutes uncovered. Then we will take them out of the rack, flip them over for another 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. And after that time goes off, we will pull them out of the oven and let them rest for 10 minutes. So while the pork chops are resting, I'll get a pan, a little bit of coconut oil, and then a little bit of bacon grease. So once the oil has melted, I'll add the asparagus, and then I like to throw a little garlic, onion, and salt and pepper on them. Just kind of toss them around a little bit and then cover them up, and then start cranking the heat up. And then what I like to do last, now that the asparagus is cooked, I kind of like to deglaze the pan using the au jus from the pork earlier. I don't know if au jus is right, but I guess the drippings from the pork. And then we'll let that kind of cook down a bit. Now we're ready to plate, I guess as they say. So we've got a little placemat here. Get our plate. Put our pork in. Put our asparagus down. Now I know in this particular time I'm using asparagus. Sometimes I would do, mushrooms and spinach and other things, but I like to get the drippings, what's left in that pan, and just kind of pour it over the whole thing. And that literally is what I would usually eat, something like this. Sometimes I might throw in I might do steak or chicken instead, and some different greens. That's essentially it. And then I've got my sparkling water, and that's pretty much it. So this will be my my egg drop soup. I like to do this one when I want to have a light day, something simple, something to begin or end a fast with. So we got our chicken bouillon, a couple cups of water. I got some pre-cut spring onion or green onion, 2 eggs, some black pepper, garlic, some coconut oil, red pepper, and this is the little secret Beaumont. And I'm using chicken bouillon right now. You can use your own chicken stock, whatever you have, or you can buy the Swanson in the box. But I'm just doing the chicken bouillon because I can always have it on hand. Again, turn your heat on, put it on high, bam, put your pan, and we add our water, we add our bouillon. Okay, this is really simple stuff. You're basically just making chicken broth. Add the spices, add a little red pepper, a little Beaumont. I like to add a tablespoon of coconut oil for the good fat. Get it going and get it up to a boil. So while we're waiting for our broth to start boiling, you can just whip your eggs up real fast. Get yourself a tiny whisk like old Binging with Babbage. And yeah, just whisk those eggs up real fast while you're waiting for it to boil. Once it gets to a boil, I like to add the green onion in. Then you start making you start swirling the broth around, and you add the egg slowly, drizzling it in, kind of just whipping it up into into egg drop soup, essentially. There's the egg drop soup, nice and hot, ready to go. And this is super satiating. This fills me up so much. I can't explain it. And again, it's super low cal, and it's got a little extra fat in there from the coconut, and all those good things from the eggs. So this is the smoothie I like to do about once a week. Got 3/4 cups of strawberries, 3/4 cups of ice and water, and half an avocado. Some kefir milk. That's what's in that bottle over there. Yeah, so we'll add the avocado, we'll add the ice and the water, and we'll drop an ice cube. It's okay, we got it. I do 3/4 cup of kefir milk. This stuff is thick and it's interesting, but I do it because of the probiotics. And this is probably the highest carb thing I do. I think there's 9 carbs in 3/4 cup of this. But yeah, I like to mix the kefir milk, ice, and avocado first, because when you add the strawberries, try to mix it all together, sometimes it doesn't want to mix very well. Mix that up. Bam, add the strawberries, mix it up. Then I'm like, oh wait, I'm missing something. That's right, flaxseed. So this is flaxseed, chia, and hemp seed, I believe. And I add about a tablespoon of this, maybe a little more, a little extra in there. And it's actually really, it doesn't really affect the flavor that much, and it almost, I don't know, it does add a little bit, adds a little texture to the smoothie, but like not in a bad way. The seeds and the grains kind of absorb the liquid, and I don't know, I like it. And if you really needed to, you could add some stevia to sweeten it up, but I don't. Twist off the lid, grab a strop, bam, ready to go. And it's actually pretty good. And this is probably, again, this is the highest carb thing I do, but it's really good and I love it. That's some of the things I like to do. Again, I want to thank everybody for watching, checking out the stuff. Again, if you want to contact me or just someone to talk to, or something like that, there's lots of cool groups. There's Lose It on Reddit, which is awesome. But if you want someone personally to talk to, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Discord, or right here on YouTube. You can leave a comment. Again, there will be links in the description. There are also links on the banner on the YouTube page if you want to get some, ask me some questions about something that I might have missed or something I wasn't clear on. That'll probably wrap this up. So again, I want to thank everybody. Thanks for watching. If you want to, I'm going to do this once a week. So if you want more information, or you want to see how I'm doing, or if you want to jump along with me and diet along, and you can give you updates, whatever you want to do, go ahead and click the subscribe button, maybe comment. There's a bell you can push to get notifications, but I also do a gaming channel, so you get notifications for those too. So I understand not wanting to do notifications. I've done it before on channels, it's a little annoying. But anyways, that'll wrap this up. So as always, I'm Tote, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Hey, did you like that video?
Well, if you did, click the box on the right for another.
Click the box on the left for a playlist.
Of course, you could always just subscribe by clicking the link in the middle.
Come find us on social media.
There are links in the description below.
Don't be afraid to leave us a comment.
Thanks for watching. I'm Tote.
I'm Ginger. See you then.
Bye.